Son, you know, once you start, there's no going back.
I know.
This means total commitment. Once you begin the path, there is no leaving the path. Are you sure you're ready for that? I mean, really ready?
Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. When the original Pokemon Black and White first came out, both fans and critics alike were quick to criticize the game for its ambitious story and unabashed lack of old Pokemon. Players were greeted by a regional dex that contained 156 brand new Pokemon, and a story that asked if it was truly ethical or not to catch and train Pokemon. Quite ambitious, but it's weird to think that many have cast this game to the wayside just because it forces you to actually use all of those new Pokemon instead of just using the old ones. Being the contrarian I am, I never had a problem with Black and White. Okay, I actually started with Black and White 2, not Black and White 1, but it's the same thing, really. The sequel's great. It's got a lot of cool features like the Pokemon World Tournament and harder gym leaders. But what I really like about these games as a whole is this roster. It's probably my favorite roster of any Pokemon game. For the sake of transparency, here's some of my favorites. Interestingly, I'd say that all of these Pokemon challenge the typical design norms associated with a lot of the older Pokemon. We got some of the most creative Pokemon ever because of it. Perhaps the community being so averse to the game's regional dex is what caused Gen 6 to be rushed and filled almost entirely with old Pokemon. Anyway, Gen 5 also has the best campaign. All of the trainers are well balanced and some of the gym leaders will even give you a run for your money. Best part is the game is actually suited to being played like a Pokemon game and looking like one too. The sprite work peaked in Generation 5, as did all of the battle animations. I really prefer all of these sprites in comparison to the lame models used in later games. And the music. Oh my god, the music. Please listen to the soundtrack. It's the best of any Pokemon game, hands down. With some exceptions, mind you. So yeah, instead of buying the new buggy Pokemon games that probably suck, play Black and White 1 and 2. You can buy a DS or 3DS on eBay for cheap, and just buy a reproduction card or whatever. Seriously, if you want to start playing Pokemon, this is the game to do it with. Anyway, I know this video is kind of short, but it's because I plan to make more Pokemon content another day, probably a Nuzlocke or something. In the meantime, why don't you guys go subscribe to an actual PokeTuber? This is Cadblasty, signing off.